Hi, my name is Christian, and I'm here today to talk to you about whale business. Little background about myself. As you can tell by the accent, I'm not a native born American. I was born in Austria, came to America about nearly 10 years ago. Started with a business trip for an international company I was working for as a technical advisor, technical consultant. And I met my wife, Gabi, outside of New York City. She's a New Yorker, New Jersey girl. And yeah, 10 years later, I'm still here and I'm loving it. Now let's talk about Quail business. So I operate my Quail business Undique since 4 years now, and since 2 years I do that full time. So I can tell you a little bit about the business part of Quail. And one of the main questions out there is always how much money I should charge for my Quail eggs. So in today's session, we're gonna go over that. I give you a little bit about my experiences I made over the last 4 years, and let's dive into it. How much should you price your quail eggs, or um, what is the value of a quail egg? So, got a whiteboard. I'm terrible at whiteboarding, but bear with me; it will make sense. So let's start. You can I can give you a simple answer how much you should charge for your quail egg. Let's say 42. Now you want 42 what? $42 or 42 cents, right? And the answer is you can charge both. You can charge $42 for a quail egg or 42 cents for a quail egg. Yeah, you think now I'm mad. I know, I get it. But bear with me. We get into it. Two important things in life is time and money, right? Money is endless thing. It comes and goes. Some governments are even printing more if they need that, right? And time is endless, right? For us as people, for any animal on the planet, and the same thing for a quail or a quail egg, right? So let's start at the beginning. Bear with me. I gonna explain this for sure. All starts here with a lovely quail bird, quite an artist, as you see, which lays a quail egg. If there was a rooster with the quail egg, it's a fertile egg, what we consider a hatching egg, right? So this hatching egg has a certain value. The value is defined by kind of quail it is, how rare it is. So that can go a bit up and down on our money scale here, right? Think here 42 cents, $3, $4, $5, and so on. It goes up and down. But a hatching egg has a great value. If there's no rooster with it, it's a fresh egg, right? Fresh. The way I handle it, if we look at time, up to 2 days, I consider a quail egg, if it's fertile, a hatching egg. I don't sell quail eggs which are older than 2 days old. For the reason they need to be transported, you want to have a great opportunity in regards to the hatch rates. Science says after 10 days, the hatch rate goes drastically down. So we want to make sure we have plenty of time to get that hatching egg to the customer to ship it out to them, and that they can start incubating them. So that's why after 2 days, older than 2 days, for me, an egg is not a hatching egg anymore. It becomes automatically a fresh egg at that stage. A fresh egg, I consider a fresh egg if we talk about shipping eggs, right? Up to 4 days old, I consider an egg fresh, so it has enough lifetime here left to be shipped to the customer, and then stored at the customer until they use it up, right? Depending how many they order. So they have about the same value. People might argue, okay, hatching egg should be a bit more expensive because I have an extra rooster to feed. I need the roosters anyway to keep my breeding programs going, so I don't really factor that in. So the way I look at it, in this case, an egg is an egg. And that has a certain value depending on where you are, if you sell it locally, if you sell it online. if there's added shipping cost, all this good stuff, there's this value to that. Now, I have to look at some of my notes because it's not as easy as that. And I hope if you're new to this, it gives you a great outlook what you can do with your product. But if you're already an experienced breeder or have a business, it might give you some new ideas as well. So bear with me. So I have these two forms. I don't want to get too much into it, but we have hatching and fresh. Now, after that, what happens to your egg? If you can't sell it as a hatching egg or a fresh egg, in time, you might have to have a coffee or tea and think about that and have breakfast, right? So this breakfast egg here, which is cracked open on top, becomes a product. You eat the egg, obviously, but these shells can be used for multiple products out there. It can be a food topper, finely grinded, dried the eggshell and be a food topper for extra calcium. Can be for hermit crabs, for example, as food. They need extra calcium for the skeleton. A lot of different options how you use that. Then from there, the eggshell obviously doesn't have the highest value. You might think, okay, if I have breakfast, I might want to have more. I want to make money having breakfast, right? So there's another egg type here. And I make a little hole here on top and bottom, or sometimes just on top, depending how big the egg is. And it's a hollowed egg. Hollowed egg, like this one here. A little hole here, blown out. You can use a pump for that too. My doctor told me it's a great exercise for my lungs. I had some issues with my lungs. Great exercise, blow it out, wash it out, dry it. So it's really shelf stable. And it becomes a great item for crafting. People buy that. I had once a customer who told me, I want to buy those eggs from you, but I need a lot of little speckles on it because I'm selling a tool for cleaning keys. And when I demonstrate my tool, I remove the little speckles of the quail egg to show my customers how great my dental hygiene tool works. And I'm like, wow. Who would have thought of somebody using a quail egg for demonstrating dental equipment? Yes, it happens. So this hollowed egg here has a value, especially around Easter. People want to craft a lot. So we sell that online and it's doing well. Or at the farmer's market, especially around Easter. If you even add color to it, you could make nice arrangement. That kind of leads me into the next section here, which is really higher up. Now we're getting to the $42 here. It's quail art, right? After we have a hollow egg, you can do more with it, right? This should assemble an earring. Now, Frank Kelly, she makes these lovely earrings. And those are the Celadon version of them, but you can make, different versions depending on what you got. And obviously you put much more time into it to make this great product. So therefore the value goes up as well. That could be sold in a nice boutique store. You can sell it online. You can sell it at the farmer's market. Many, many, many different options, right? You do it right, not too heavy. It's really beautiful. I gave some to my wife months ago. She loves them, but I love it when she wears it. Let's be honest. I'm a quail person. Anyway, but you get the idea. So the value goes up. Quail art in general. It could be also something with the feathers from the quail. But today I try to focus really on the egg. But we might get into the other good things. Since I speak about the hollowed eggs, though, I want to mention another product we make here at Undique, and we have a lot of farms helping us and supplying us with that. So the insides of the egg yolk and egg whites could be put into a freeze dryer and it becomes a product as well, a food topper for pets. My dog loves it when I put that on her normal food. For a dog, many different pets love dehydrated or freeze-dried quail egg. If you just have a dehydrator, pop it in there. It looks a little different. Maybe the shelf life is not as long, but it works too. So that hollowed egg here is not just one product, multiple products as well. Maybe not as highly up in the price change as for the hollowed egg, but for example, the freeze-dried egg is definitely a great product as well, what you can make out of quail eggs. We talked about the eggshell here for breakfast. We're gonna get now soon into another use case. We have the option on our timeline here to, let's say around latest day 7, to still sell this egg here as a whole for the consumption by pets. There is snakes out there who only eat quail eggs. There is reptiles out there. There is cats and dogs who love quail eggs. My dog, she loves it. She gets one for breakfast, one for dinner. Without it, she wouldn't eat her normal food anymore. I spoiled her a little bit, but quail eggs for pets, great option as well. Still stays fresh for a long time, but we price it a little lower and sell it this way as well. So great option. Then one obvious thing what you can do with a quail egg, that's kind of where this whole thing started, is hatching the quail egg. Hatch it. There's 2 options to that, and I come to that later, or to the second option. First option, you hatch it yourself, right? If you hatch it yourself, you kind of go back to the start of this value life cycle of a quail egg. You add to your breeding stock, you increase your production, for example, but also it can help to produce other products I want to mention today a little bit, since we got the time, what you can make out of quail as well. If you hatch it, obviously, you start that life cycle again. Second option in regards to hatching, number 2, is you start a rental program. Rent. I call it rent a hatch. At one of my websites where I help people like you to start such a program. You can make your own website if you're tech savvy. So what is rent a hatch, or what is a rental program? It's pretty straightforward. You make money, and now we are going actually really high up here. You make money with your fertile eggs. The eggs need to be fertile, otherwise they can't be hatched, right? You have the equipment at home. You got your incubator. There's one sample here. I have different types what I use. This is great for classroom projects, for example. And then you put together a kit as well, a rental kit. I have boxes like this. I show you just to give you an idea. Comes with everything which is needed. Beginners as well as experienced people. A heating plate, puppy pads for the brooder, chicken feed, waterer, thermostats, all that good stuff what you need to hatch a quail. And you can rent that out to people. We got a lot of customers who are teachers who order fertile eggs from us and then do that as part of their curriculum. Show children, how light is created, how to care for chicks, the life cycle of a bird. And then, of course, there's people who do homeschooling. There's families who want to have a great experience, right? Speaking of experiences, I went last summer here in New Jersey bowling with my kids, a family of 4. We went bowling. It was great. Paying for it wasn't that great because I think we spent $150 for 2 hours of entertainment, some sodas, some food, 3 turns bowling. So after 2 hours, $150 was gone. With this rental experience, what you can offer to families, you can charge $200 for it, but it's not just 2 hours of fun. It's an educational experience and, of course, a lot of fun as well. Sure, the first 18 days might be a bit boring, right? Until the chicks actually hatch, but that can be overcome by activities with the kids to teach them about the bird themselves, how to care later for them. But once the little chicks hatch, it's really exciting for the kids, right? They can care for them, fill up the water, put in food, pet them a little, see them running around in the brooder, move them from the incubator to the brooder. So really great experience for the kids there in such a rental program, and it's more than just 2 hours of fun. So the customers, they see value in that. And for that value, they are paying you, right? I mean, you bought the equipment, right? You have to get that together. You take time out of your day to hand over that equipment to the customer and explain them the basics, right? You might put together certain guides for them, or you use a service like ours, where this is all in there with training videos for the customers and all that good stuff. You might spend some time with customer support. If they call you, oh my God, it's not hatching, what should I do? You text them back and things like that. So with renting, you can not just spread the word of Quail out to the world, but also make some money. And I offer that program here in Jersey for $200 for the 4 weeks period of the rental. I think it's a fair price. If you take my sample from going bowling and spend $150 in 2 hours, a 4 weeks rental experience, a hatching experience for $200, what I charge, I think is a fair price for the customer. They have a great experience, and then at the end of the rental period, they can decide, do they want to keep Quail because they really felt in love with the idea, like you and me, to have daily fresh breakfast eggs, right? Or to say, well, it was great, but I live in an apartment or I live in an area I can't really have Quail. I travel too much. So they can return the Quail back to your farm. Obviously, you need to have a proper biosecurity protocol in place to have the birds then quarantined, isolated from the rest of your flock, not to risk anything. I mean, depends on your level of risk as well, what you're willing to take or not, right? If they have been in an apartment, the customer was taught the proper protocols to disinfect their hands before and after they handle them. If they visited a farm or not, all these good things which you should have in a biosecurity protocol. You take back these birds, they can go back to this cycle, or the birds can also, become a part of your next revenue stream, which is not related to the quail eggs themselves, but rather the quail. Since we have the time, let's talk a little bit about the quail. And should have brought maybe some more samples, but thanks God, I'm standing in front of a green screen right now, so I can show you here some samples. If you look at the bird from top to bottom, you see all the parts of them. I mean, well, I make this video for beginners and people who already have quails, so bear with me. You got the head. There is art you could make out of the skull of the quail head, for example. I heard people are also using them to feed them to their pets. That's an option. You got the wings. The wings are a great product. We use them in many, many different settings. We sell them in bulk. We sell them single. It can be a cat toy. It can be a training tool for bird dogs. So very versatile. Then obviously you have the meat on the bird themselves. You can make out of the meat dog treats. You can have it for your own consumption, of course. If you go through all the process and sell it for human consumption, that's an option too. You got the thighs, the legs.
Let's feed my dogs.
Try to boom now on TikTok with the quail feed being used for raw feeding for dogs and cats, for example. Didn't forget anything. The feathers, even the feathers from the rooster in front, for example. I use them for fly fishing. You can make fly fishing ties out of them, so you can sell those feathers in bulk, for example. Yeah, So I think I have covered most of the bases of the quail bird. In my company, I have 106 different products just made out of quail. So hard to think of every single one right now. But I'm going to show you here some pictures so it makes sense to you what you can do with them. Oh, yeah, meat, maybe. Let me show you a sample here. So this is a pet product as well. It's designed for cats and dogs. It can be used as a food topper or as a little treat. It's just fluffed up, dehydrated quail meat. Nothing added to it, natural color. So really shelf stable. You can sell that, for example, as well. So there is a ton of different options what you can do with quail. And the way I see it is this bird, should have a purpose. If you want to be responsible with the life you have created in the first place with the hatching of it, it should have a full purpose. It should be always treated humane, of course. They should have a great setup for them. I use two styles. I have an aviary for them, and I have what I call a quail hut. So this is more for the breeding program in the hut and during the winter time. That's also where the brooders are. And then the aviary, which is then more used in my case right now in summer, spring, and fall. The winter, I will probably use it. I have to fix it up a bit better, make it nicer for them in there. So that's why this winter, for example, I haven't used it. But yeah, treat your birds good. That will come back to you, right? Because your product is great. You can stand behind it. The marketing of your product is important. So having a good website is really, really, really important. There, when you start out doing it from a business perspective, be careful. There's a lot of companies out there. They give you an offer for the first year. They charge you $100 for the website. And before you know it, in the second year, you pay $400 for it. Happened to me. That's why I made my own website eventually. So, or look for a provider who can help you with that, right? A lot said. I hope it gives you a good idea how we look at quail eggs here and what I do with my company. How you can really create a business out of a hobby. Started it as a hobby like I did. And it's an exciting journey. So this, I hope now coming back to what I initially said, this guy is crazy, charging $42 for a quail. Yes, you can. I think I have explained it. Look at your cost. That's where everything starts, right? Don't make the mistake. I've seen a lot of people making the mistake, not knowing their exact cost for their product. The cost of goods is an important thing to look at, where you really factor in everything. Otherwise, if you don't do that right, then you haven't got the concept of the value of your product at all. And I think that's really important. You should not sell something you don't understand the value of. So look at what your cost: electricity for heating, lighting, ventilation, the feed cost, of course, right? Your labor cost, taxes, all that things, marketing, all these things you have to factor in to have a base price. Then think about who is your customer, right? I've met over the years now so many different businesses in this space of quail, and there's the breeders who sell the eggs in bulk, right? They consider 600 egg orders as small, right? While somebody else, consider 100 egg order as big, right? Who is your customer? Which kind of market you want to cover? Are you going to in the egg direction? Are you going into the meat direction? Are you going into the art direction? You want to do a little bit of each. It's really up to you, but just try to understand who is your customer for each of your products, right? It's so versatile. If somebody would have told me 4 years ago that I'm gonna leave an IT job close to New York City, which is not bad paid, to have a quail business, I would have told them, yeah, sure. Yeah, but I have done it and I love it. I love it every day. And I hope you love what you do. Then you can stand behind your product like I do. Go out there, be proud, sell it, make a lot of customers happy, and yeah, be happy yourself through that process, right? So thanks for watching. I wish you a good rest of your day.